All right, welcome back, the Genius. So let us round up this week with building an application. Okay, so let us build a student grade management system step by step. So in this project, we are going to show you all the ways we have talked about handling errors, creating exception, custom exception, raising errors, and all those things. So we'll be demonstrating everything in this project. So the first step we have to do is to create our project folder. So we will have to create this, go to any place you want to run it, go and create this student grade system. So I would open this thing, I will go to my Python file. Um, Okay, I already have something like this before. So, but for me, I'm just going to create something new. I will call it, give it student grade system. For me, I will just say S G student grade system. All right. But your own, I already have student grade system. That's why I'm not using student grade system here. So, but make sure that you give it a meaningful name. Now, open this folder in Visual Studio Code. Right click on the folder and open it in Visual Studio Code. Now we have to do a couple of things. We have to create our main file, main.py. We also have to have, we'll have our display.py. What else are we going to have? Let me see the slide. We'll have mains, okay, student.json data.py. Okay, so student.json data.py. Okay. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. I'm going to minimize our Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I'm going to minimize it, and okay, so I will have another one is students.json. Create this file, students.json. Another file is data.json, sorry, data.py. All right. Then we now have to create a folder. This folder is where we put all our, call it utils. So we are some of the functions that we have. You're going to see the functions that we are going to create. Some of these functions that we have, we are going to put them here. So now this is what we have. Okay, so this is the structure of our folder. All right, we have the utils folder, we have the data.py, display.py, main.py, and students.json. So we'll create an empty file in the student.json. Let's go in the students.json. We'll create an empty list. Okay. All right. Hope you're seeing what I'm doing. Okay. So here we have this. So inside the student.json, this is where we'll be storing our data. So when we save our data for persistence, this is where we're storing it. Okay. So now let us go and open in the student.json file, we have created this list. Just look at it. This is going to be a JSON list. Okay. So in the data.py, open the data.py and create a variable called students and initialize it to an empty list. Okay. So this is where we will temporarily store our data, our students' record. When our program is still running, this is where we store it. We store the data here, and then we create a file. We are going to let us start creating files that will functions that will calculate that we are going to use to work. So go inside your utils folder, create a file, call it calculate underscore grade dot py. Okay, so inside of this, create a function like this. Okay, so I would do this. I will minimize my This is so I'm going to create a function. I'll def calculate grade. Calculate grade. It will take a parameter of score, and then we say if score is greater than or equal to 90, what do we want to do? We want to return A. That means the student scored A. All right. Else if score is greater than or equal to 80, sorry, 80, what do we want to return? We want to return B. All right. We want to return B. And if score is greater than or equal to 70, oops, sorry. If score is greater than 70, we want to return C. L if score is greater than or equal to 60, what do we want to return? We want to return D. Okay. And then if none of this go well, what do we want to return? We want to return F. So if none of these are this, we want to return F. So this is our calculate grade function. So this is what will calculate that will grade our student score. Okay. So look at the code here and make sure you have it intact. Okay. Now let us create custom exceptions. So go to not in the utils anymore. In the main folder, create exceptions. Got exceptions dot py. Okay. Make sure, look at where it is. It is not inside of the utils. It is inside, it is in the normal folder where every other one is. Create exception dot py and then add these exceptions. We'll be using them. So let's create a class invalid score error. Invalid score error. It would inherit from exception, and then we just want to pass because we just want to use the normal implementation of. So class student not found error. It takes exception. It inherits from exception, and then we pass. So now these are our custom exception. All right. So we go. This makes our application more professional because we have custom exceptions. Remember, when we were teaching about custom exceptions, we said that we encourage you to start using custom exceptions. Not found. Okay, that was typo. Okay, invalid score error. Okay, so now let us create a file that will validate scores, because when they give us score, we need to validate it. Remember, validation is the key to what we are doing in our program. Always validate. So let us go to inside of utils. All right, create a file, call it validate score, so that we don't just take in any score that the user gives us. Validate score. And inside of validate score, we are going to define a function called validate def validate score. And it will take in score. And then what are we doing? If score is less than 0 or score is greater than 100, so these values are not acceptable. You understand? These values, they are not acceptable. So what do we want to do? We want to raise, remember, we want to raise invalid but I'll have to import it. So let us go and import our invalid. So we'll say from exception, import invalid error. So I want to raise invalid error. Okay. And then I'm saying that score, the error message is that score must be um, between, score must be between 0 and 100. But if this is not the case, that means there was no error. We just want to return the score. Yes, we have validated it and everything is okay. We just want to return the score. But if this was violated, that means we throw an error. Else, we'll return score. Now, let us go and register user. Let us create a function that will register user. All right, so we are going to use all these functions that we are creating very soon. So I'll go inside of utils. I will create another file. I will call it register student. Okay, not user student, register student.py. And then inside of it, I'm going to do a lot of imports. I'm going to import I'm even going to change the way I'm importing this. I'm going to import validate score as validation. I hope I don't get things wrong here. Yes, import validate score as validation. And then I would also import data. So I would also import from exception because I'll be using exception. From exception, I want to import invalid error. So now let me create my function. Register student is the name of the function. And it takes nothing, but I'll put it in a try. I'll put everything I'm doing in try catch. Sorry. I'll put everything I'm doing in try catch and then except. So if anything goes wrong, sorry, except invalid, invalid error as I, and then I can just print, or I can say as E, and I'll just print E. Like I said, look at what I'm doing. I'm changing it to E as E. Why are you giving me that error? Okay. So now let us now, when we want to register a user, we expect that they give us their name. So we say name is equal to input. We say enter name. Then age is going to be another one. Age, we would have to int, and then we say input. You know what I'm doing, right? You say input. So we say enter age. Remember, why I'm using the int function is to convert the age, because the age will be given to us as a string. So we are converting it. And in case there could be an error. So in case there is any error, value error, let us also catch it here. Except value error as V, and then we could actually still print it. Okay. I'm handling the errors right away. So now we would also ask the user to give us the score for Python score, the student score, Python score, and then we are still going to convert it to an integer, input um, Python score. I'm going to do the same thing for maybe two more. Python score, English score, as in this will be maths, and this will be maths, and this would be English. Okay, and then this would be English. Okay, so far so good. Our function is getting longer. Now, we need to validate these scores that the users have given us. Remember, if it is less than 0 or greater than 100, we throw an error. So now, remember that I imported this validate score as validation. So I'm now going to say validation dot validate score. I want to validate Python score. Okay, I'm going to validate the three of them. So I will copy this, and then I will do this, I will do this. So I will say math score, and then I will say English score. Okay. Now, if there is any error, it will throw invalid score error, and then we will catch it here, we'll handle it here. But if everything went fine, there was no error, then we'll create a student dictionary. We'll create a student dictionary, and then the name would be name that the user gave us. Age would be age that the user gave us, the student gave us. Python score, like just Python, or you can make it Python score. Okay, is the Python score they gave us, maths underscore score is the math score, and English. You could actually add more subjects. So English score is English score. If you don't understand what I did here, that means you have not been following this program very well. Now, what do we want to do? After we have created this student, we want to remember we have student from this data. Remember, we have this list here. Okay, so let me go back to. Okay, so now what do we want to do? Well, immediately after creating this student dictionary, what do we want to do? We want to add it to the list. So data.students dot append. We want to append it, and what do we want to append? The student that we have created here. Okay, so that's what we have here. So after creating this, we are storing it, we are appending it to the list that we have, all right, in that data file. Then, once we are done with that, what do we want to do? We want to print student registered, student registered successfully. All right, so that's what we have, and we already so once there is an error, value error, what do we want to do? We want to print meaningful message. We'll tell the user, please enter numbers only. Okay, and then if there is here, we could just print the E. So there will be no need for this as V. Okay, so we are good here. Okay. Now let us go and create calculate average. Let's calculate the average score of the student. So I'll call it calculate underscore average dot pi. Calculate average dot pi. Okay, so I will create this function def calculate underscore average, sorry, underscore average. It takes in the student object, and then, so let us create the total. Let us create the total. And then this total, this what I'm doing here is I'm creating an expression here. So instead of this expression, we are going to get um, the student key. So we want to get the student score for Python. Remember, the key that we use is Python underscore score. All right. So what do we want to do? We want to we want to add it to student key for math score. Okay. Then we also want to add the student the score for English. The English is English score. I hope I'm correct. But if there is any error, of course, we'll just come back and debug, as simple as that. So once we are done, we want to get the average. Remember that the average will be we have three keys, or we have three subjects that they actually took. All right, we have three subjects they actually took. So what do we want to do? We want to return the total divided by 3. Now, if you have more than three subjects, of course, you should divide by that number. So here, because we are only working with Python score, math score, and English score, we are dividing by 3. Okay, so now this is our calculate average function. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to create a function that will display students um, that will display students information. So this is what it looks like. We're going to create a function. So I'll go and create a file inside of the utils folder, create a file, and I'll call it view underscore student dot py. Okay, so what are we doing here? I am going to import. I'm going to import certain things. So I will say now, because, okay, let me try this. I'll say import. Okay, first of all, let us go and try some of the things that we have created already. Let us try them first. Let's go to main.py. We have average, we have calculate grade, we have register user, we have register user, we have validate score, we have view state. So let's go and test. Okay, don't worry. Let's continue. After everything, we will just test everything at once. Okay, so I'll say, even if I say from utils import calculate, okay, I can still just do, instead of, I can just say import, because they're in the same folder, they're in the same package. I can just say import calculate grade, okay, and I'll give it an alias of car calc grd. Okay, I can also import, sorry, I can also import calculate average, because we'll be using the function here. I will import it as calc avg. Then I'm also going to import data. Remember that the data file, the data.py, have the students list. That's the where we actually store students temporarily. So I will import data. Now let us create our function. the function that will view students for us. View students, it takes nothing. So if, let us check, if not data dot student, that means there is nothing. It's not, nothing is inside. Okay, what do we want to do? We want to print that there is no student. No student found. All right. Of course, there's no student found. And immediately we want to return to the calling function. We want to return. Okay. But if none of this happened, that means what do we want to do? We want to loop through. We'll have a loop. We'll say for student in data, sorry, for student in oops, for student in data dot student. So we want to loop through all of them. And what do we want to do? We want to calculate the average score of the student. We say, and remember the average is, I'm using, I imported the calculate average module as calc avg. So I'll say calc avg dot calculate average. I'll give it the student object. Remember, that's what it takes. I'll give it the student object. And then the grade. Let's get the student's grade. Grade is, I did it as calc grade dot calculate grade, and we'll pass in the student object. Oh, sorry, we'll pass in the average. We'll pass in the average. So let's go back and check. Our calculate grade takes in Our calculate grade takes in score. Okay. Our calculate grade takes in score, and it will grade the students. Okay, whether the student is an A student or what. Okay. So I'll go back to close this. So now, for us to calculate the grade, so when we do this, if we have any error, we'll just come back and debug it, as simple as that. So we want a new line character here, and then we want to maybe add this. Yes. Okay, so now we are going to print the student's name and blah, blah, blah. So now immediately after printing this, we want to print, we print the student's name, and sorry, I'm going to use formatted string here. And then I will have a space here, and then I will put everything in curly brace. I will say student dot, no, not student dot name. Student, this because this is a dictionary. So I'm actually thinking I'm writing JavaScript. Remember, the student's key here is name. So we are printing student's name to be this. Okay, so we'll still need to print age. We'll print the student's age, and then, sorry, this will be age, and then the key here is age. Then we want to print the student's Python score. So we would, so we can say Python. You can make this thing, you can format this thing more, right? This is just for tutorial. So I am going to get the Python underscore score. That's the key, remember. All right, it's just different from what I have on my slide. Okay, now I can also have this and this. So the first one would be for math, and then this would be math underscore score, and remember, make sure you're fixing the indentation error that is showing. Make sure that your indentation is very accurate. So this would be the key is English underscore score. So after doing this, then we want to print. Let's print their average. So I will say average. Sorry, average is this. Give some space. No, no, no. So average is this, and then inside curly brace, we are going to get the round function, and we want to round the whatever the average is, and we take two decimal points there, and then the grade. We'll print the grade. So we're also grading the student. We print the grade, and then remember, I am using F string here. So to take the grade. So this is cool, right? So so now look at what we have here. Let me expand my this thing. Look at what we have here. Okay, look at what we have. It's a full function, plenty things in here. But first of all, I started by importing the modules I'll be using. All right, because I need to calculate grade, I need to calculate average. Um, I'm importing it from the same folder here. Look at it. All these calculate grade and calculate average are in the same folder with the view student.py. Remember when we talked about packages and modules? So, and then I am doing all my calculations there. So just follow along. And in case you don't understand something, please, you know how to reach out to me and I'll put you through. So now the next thing we need to do is to create a function that will save files, that will save our data to our to the student.json file because we need to make it persistent. Because remember, once your program exits, all right, any data in memory would be lost. So if you don't want your data, your students' data to be lost, you have to save them in a file. So either you save them in a database or you save them in a file. But what I'm going to do here is that we already have students.json, so we'll be saving it in student.json. We'll not be working with database yet. So I will still go to the utils folder. I will create a save underscore data.py. Okay. So this is what we are going, this is what we are going to have. So we have not talked about files, but in the next chapter, that's what we'll be discussing. So I'm going to import this JSON. Even if you don't understand what it is doing, no problem. That is not what we are teaching in this class, but it is a module that helps us to actually work with JSON. So I'm also going to say from data, all right. From data, I want to import, or I can just say import data. Okay, I can just say import data. All right. Now I create a function called save underscore data. It takes in no parameter. See, don't worry. This thing I'm writing now, you're going to learn it in the next chapter. This open with open. What do we want to open? We want to open a file called students.json. Make sure that this name is correct. Students.json. Let me cross check it. I'll go open my this and I'll see students.json. Make sure that the name corresponds. If not, it will throw an error that I didn't see the file. And we have not talked about files yet. So we are using the right permission because we are telling Python that we want to write to this file. And then we are converting this as to be a file. Okay, don't worry. Oops, sorry. Okay, so this is as file. Okay. Do we have we have an error? Okay, so now colon, that should be a colon. So now we say JSON dot dump. Sorry, JSON dot dump. We want to dump data, whatever, we have been saving students data in the data.students list. So we want to take everything that is in there. We want to dump it inside of this file that we have created, and we are giving it an indent of 4. So please make sure that you have everything correct like this. Make sure you have everything correct like this. So you might not understand this code, but it's okay. Now, after doing that, we can now come back and print. All right, we can print data. Sorry. We can print data saved. We can print data saved. So this is our function that will save data. You will see where we call it. So whenever we call this function, it is going to open up this student.json file, and then we can write to it. Okay, we can write to it. So we are writing the whatever we have in the data.students list, and we are putting it inside of the file, and we are doing this. So yes, I don't expect you to understand what I did here because we have not taught you this, but in the next chapter, that's what we'll be discussing, files. Now, we also have to create another function that will load. So this function is going to load data. We save data. We should also be able to load data. Load data.py. Okay. So first of all, we will import JSON because we'll be using it. We would also import data. All right. Oh, sorry. We will import data. Now let us create a function called load underscore data. Okay. We have to put it in a try block. So I'm coming to the except. Okay, let me even go straight to the except. So if there is any error, all right, we are looking for file not found. We are expecting that there could be file not found error. And if there is, we just want to catch it. Okay. And while we are doing that, we might just tell the user, okay, as we might just tell our user that something went wrong. So we can just say print E. That will be, it will tell the user that the file was not found. Okay. So let us try and open with, with open. What file do we want to open? We want to open students.json. And wait, there's a mistake. Even when we are saving the file, we should also see. You can see that we are not even using try catch here because an error could be thrown here in case this. Okay, in case the file is not okay, there is no need. In case the file is not seen, Python will create it. In case the file does not exist, okay, Python will create it. But when you are loading it, Python is not going to create it for you. So we want to use the read, what's it called? We want to use the read permission, and we want to save as file. We want to typecast it. We want to give it an alias file. So now we say data dot students. Okay. So we want to get we want to use JSON dot load. We want to load data from this file. Okay. So this is what we have now. We are able to save our file. We're able to load it. Okay, so then data dot students will be an empty string if if an error occurred. So I think we are good here. So this is our save load data. Um, this is our load data file, our load data function. Okay. All right. So next thing we do is that let us create a function that will search for students. All right. So users of this application will be able to search for students. So let's say search underscore student, search underscore student. So we are searching for a student. First of all, we will need to import because we'll be using the student not found exception. So I'm going to import it because we'll be using it. We would also be working with the data, so we can also import. If you don't like my style of using import, you can actually use your own. That is fine. Search student. It takes a function. It takes no parameter, and then we ask the user for the student's name. We say input. We say input. I say enter student. Enter student's name. Student name. Enter 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 student n So when they give us the student name, we are going to loop through our student, our JSON, our data.student. So if say for in student, sorry, for in data.students, we want to say if we are looping through any all of them and say if student of name, remember the key is name, then we want to convert it to lower so that we don't care whether the user um, gives us in lowercase. So it's name dot lower. Sorry. So we are converting what the user gave us to lower, and we're also converting the student's name to lower so that, and if that is the case, what do we want to do? We would want to we want to print the student. So we just want to print the student. You can do better than this. In this case, I just want to print the student, and after printing it, I want to return from this function. And if the user was not found, then what do we want to do? We want to raise an exception. We want to raise student. We want to raise student not found exception, and we want to say student not found. So let me expand this so that you see what I have here. So we are searching for a student, and then we are asking the user to give us the name of the student, and then we are looping through our data.students. Remember, this is our temporary data store for all the students that are registering before we save them. So if there is this student, we want to print the student, but if there is no student, we want to raise student not found error. See, you can do more than this. You can do better than what I'm doing here. This is just for demo purposes. In case you want to make use of this student that you're searching for, you can do whatever you want to do with it. Okay. So don't worry, we are almost done. We are almost done. So now let us create a function that would update students. All right, let's go into the inside utils, create another function, call it update underscore student dot py. So what do we have here? We are going to do some imports. Sorry. I will import from exception. I will import student error. And then I would also import validate score as val. All right. And then I would also import data. So now we create a function called update underscore score. Update underscore score. Although this my function is deficient, but you can actually do better than I did here. But like I said, this is just for demo purposes. So we are asking for the student's name. Okay, student name. All right. So for students in data.students, okay, if there is a student, sorry, if there is a student, I wanted to write JavaScript, that's why I was laughing. If there is a student, we want to still check for the student by their name, and then we want to get the student by their name and then we want to convert it to lower. And if it is equal to the name that the user gave us to lower, if it is equal, then what do we want to do? Okay. We want to now update. So we want to do the updating. So I will say I'm only going to update for Python score. All right. I'm only going to update for Python score. But if you want to update, give rooms for more updates, maybe English score, math score, you can go on. So I'm saying input, I would say new Python score, sorry, new Python score. And as soon as I get this score, what do I want to do? I would want to validate it. So I will say var dot validate score, var dot validate score. Um, I'll pass in the Python score. So if there is any error, remember the validate score will raise an error, invalid error. If there is any error, it will throw that error. And then if there was no student, we will just have to raise student not found error. But one thing you can see now that I'm not even catching exception that could occur here. I will leave it for you to do. Look at, let me point out some mistake I made here already. You see this function, you see that you know that this validate score could raise an exception. So if I go to it, if I go to definition, it could raise an exception. And even as where I'm not even using try catch. So put your own inside try catch. All right, because this could throw an error. Okay, so this is what I have. So this is what I have. Okay, if the student does not exist, we throw an error. Raise student not found error. All right, so now let's go to the next function we need to write. Let us create a delete student function. Delete underscore student dot py. Okay, and then from exception, I'm going to import student not found error. And then I'm also going to import data because I'll be using it. All right, so let us create a function called delete underscore student. It takes nothing. So we will ask you for, you see, basically, we are still going to, there's something we call do not repeat yourself. And I'm already repeating myself here. If I go to update student, you see now that this particular thing here, all right? This particular thing here, I'm already doing it over and over again. So, but don't worry, when you grow bigger in your career, you get to understand what I'm doing. So I'm already doing this thing over and over again. So I could have put it in another function so that I can use it. Okay. But for now, just pardon me. I'm just going to do that. So for student in data, this thing, uh, so, okay. So if we're able to find the user, what do we want to do? Would remove. We'll say data dot students dot remove, and we are removing the student that we found. Okay. Else, what do we need to do? We would raise students not. You see, we are just repeating ourselves, so we shouldn't be doing this. But for now, let's just work with it. Student not found. All right. Okay. So first of all, we also have to give feedback to the user. We'll print and we'll say student deleted. And what do we need to do? We need to return. Oh, please. You will have to return from this function. If not, so you see what we have here. So in case, all right. Now let us go on and create another function that we will use to view students. All right. I will call it, view students. I'll call it view students. So sorry, this is class average. I will call it is to view the class average. Okay, this is to view class average dot py, class average dot py, and then I am going to from no, I'm going to import calculate average as calc. I'm also going to import data. Okay, def. Let's get the class underscore average. Sorry, average, and it is a function. This that. So if not, if there is no data in our students or data, so that means nothing. We will return 0. So there's nothing to calculate. If our list is empty, we will return 0. And then when we do that, we just create a total. Let's initialize it to be 0. And then to say for students in data the students, we want to do total plus equal to calculate average. The calc dot calculate average. What do we want to do? We want to pass in the student. Remember, our calculate average takes in the student object. Okay. So at the end of the day, we want to return what your indentation, we want to return total divided by the length of how many students do we have inside of our data the students. How many do we have? Okay, so now you can see what we have here. All right, so now let's go and create another function called export report. So we'll be using this function to export our reports. So don't worry, we're almost done. Export report dot py. So okay, so we say import calculate average as calc avg, and we say import calculate grade as calc grd, and then we import data. So the name of the function is going to be export report. It takes nothing as parameter. So we are going to open a file. We are going to open a file called student underscore reports dot txt. If it doesn't exist, it will create it. Student report dot txt with a permission of write, and then as file. So what do you want to do? We want to do file dot write, and what do we want to write? We want to write student reports, and then we could have some new line here. So we are going to loop through each of the, we loop through for each student in data the students. Okay, we want to, we'll get the average. So average would be, remember, AVG, sorry, calc AVG, calc average dot calculate average will give the students, and then we'll also calculate their grade. Sorry, we'll calculate their grade too. Grade is equal to calc grade dot calculate grade. We are giving the average. Okay, so the next thing is to write file.write. We are going to use f string, and then we are going to use, sorry. Okay, see what we are doing here. All right, because we want to write multi-line characters here. So I will say name, and then his name will be student of, remember that the key is name. Okay. I'll come down. I'll say average. There will be no issues of formatting here because we are writing in a string. Average would be AVG, but we are doing dot two. We are taking two decimal. Sorry, put F. Hey, grade. We are giving the grade. All right, so for each of the students, that's what we want to do. And after that, for each of the students, okay, let me bring these things here so that I will not get confused. So for each of the students, we'll say report exported. So this report exported should be after we have exported it. So it should be outside of the for loop. Yes, it should be outside of the for loop. Okay, it should be outside of the for loop. Maybe even inside of the function. Okay, so wherever you would want to put it, but you say report exported if everything has gone well. I expect that there could be errors as I'm writing all these things, but as we write it, we'll fix it now. So now let's create the main menu, the menu that will display, that will give students how to prompt them, okay? So I'll go inside of display, I will create a function called def, I'll call it menu. Okay, but before I continue with the function, there are a couple of things I need to import. I need to, from utils, I need to import register student as reg. I need to also, from utils, import view students as VW. I need to, let me just do this. I will need 1, 2, 3. So, all right, so let me start from here. From utils, I want to import search student as such. And after that, I want to import update student as UPD. I want to get delete student as delete. Don't try to use del because there is a keyword del. Okay, Okay. I could also import class average, as class avg. I could import save data as save, and then I could import export report as exp. All right. Now I would also need to from exception, I want to import student not found. Student not found and invalid error. I want to import the two. Okay. All right. So let's see now. While we are going to have a while loop, because we want this menu to continue to be running, while true, all right, we want it to continue to run until we quit. So we are going to print this while that is true. We will print um, so this is what I want to print. Student, students grade system. And then I also want to have this. Okay. Okay. Now this should be inside of here, please. So number one is if you select one, register student. If you select two, let's see what two is. Okay, so these are the options. If you select two, you want to view student. If you select three, you want to search student. If you select four, you want to update. You want to update student. If you select five, you want to delete student. And if you select six, you want the class average. And if you select seven, you want to save data. Okay, let's see. Do you have more keys? So if you select eight, you want to export data. You want to export report. And if you select nine, you want to exit. Okay? All right. So I would also have this. Okay. Now, let us now go and check and ask for input. So we'll set that input as the user's choice, and it will come from, we use the input function to take it. We say enter, choose option. We say choose option. So we want to put it in a try. We'll say if choice, sorry, if choice is equal to 1, what do we want to do? We want to register student. We will call reg dot register student. Okay. That will be if choice is equal to 2, I believe we will call view. Yeah, I think view dot view student. Okay. Yeah, if it is two, view dot view students. Else if choice is equal to 3, what do we want to do? We want to search. Okay, we want to search the search student. And then if choice is equal to 4, what do we want to do? We want to update. So opd dot update score. We call that. If it is 5, if choice is equal to 5, we want to delete. We want to delete dot delete student. Okay. So if the choice is 6, if the choice is equal to 6, we want to print, we'll round it to, so we want to do average. Calculate average dot class average, and then we want to round it up to 2. If choice is equal to 7, what do we want to do? We want to save. Save data. And if choice is equal to 8, we want to do what? We want to export. ESP.export report. And then elif, of course, the last one is exit now, so we don't even need to put it in an elif. Okay. If choice is equal to 9, we will save data. Yes, we need to save data before exiting. We'll save data and then we'll now print and say goodbye. We have to save data so that the data will not be lost. We'll say goodbye. Then if else, if none of these are correct, then we want to print and we say invalid choice. Okay. Now, we expect that this could throw an error, and that is why we would also have our except. We'll look for students. So remember, we want to catch plenty of them at a time. If it is student not found error, invalid error, value error, we want to catch all of them as E. And then what do? We'll print E. Oops, sorry. we'll print E, and that's our function. So that's, you see, this is a very long one. This our main is a very long one. So you can pause the video. You can pause the video and make sure that your own is correct like this. You can pause the video. Okay, so let's continue. Now let us go and let's go to our main.py and then run our application. So we would import from utils, we would import load data as data, or no, let me call it load. Okay, from display, we want to import what? Menu. Now, let us put everything in a try block. We want to first of all load, we want to, once the application starts, we want to load data. Okay, load dot load data, because we want to load data from where we stored it. That is why we want to load data from where we stored it. And if there is any error, we will print F. Else, if there is no error, else if there is no error, we will just continue with the menu. So look at what we are doing here. The first time when we run this application, we want to load data. Remember that this data is loading data from where we stored it. This load function data is, look at it, it is loading data from where we stored it and it is adding it in the temporary data store. So when we start our application, we need to load data so that we might have the one that we stored before. So now let us go and run this application and see if everything works well. So I'll say Python. I'm expecting errors though, and that is it. Python.py. You see, there's an error. It says module not found, validate score was not found. Okay. So where did it happen? It happened in the register student as this. It happened in the menu. So we have issue with register student. So let's go back to the menu. It says that it didn't see register student. And then from register student, we were validating score. So okay. So it says validate score does not exist. Module not found. Okay, there are a couple of things I could actually do here, but let me try this out first. Validate score. Where is the validate? Okay, so see what I'm going to do. Okay, as validation. I don't want to waste time on this video, so I'm just going to say from utils import this. Okay, so let's try it again and see. Calculate grade was not found, and this thing happened in view student. Okay, so now let's go back to all the files that we had. Calculate this. Okay, this will be fine. This will be fine. Calculate average. As we're importing this, let us change it to from utils import this. Okay, delete data. Okay, this one is fine. Export. So let's change this from utils import this, from utils import this. You can see that I wasn't afraid of the error. I was expecting errors to happen. I wasn't afraid of it. So I'll just check, okay, this one has been fixed. Save data does not have it. This one is okay. Okay. From utils, do this. Validate score. We don't have that. View this. Okay, we might have it here. From utils, from utils. Okay, I think we might be safer now. So let's go and run it again. All right, you can see, guys, I wasn't afraid that could be a bug. There was a bug, and you can see we have fixed it, and our application is working fine. It says students grade, register this, blah, blah, blah. So choose option. Let me choose one. Let's test our application. Okay, so you can see, let me close this, let me go back to the menu. Let me go back to the menu okay, so I should put a colon here and a space. All right. So I will go again and run. And then I will choose one. It says enter name. I will enter Ken. It says enter age. I will enter 90. Enter Python score 67. Enter math score 90. Enter English 67. And it says student register successfully. So our student register function works very fine. Now let us go and view student. I will do two. You see, it's printed our view student here. This is the student we just registered. This is the student we have so far. And if I go for three, search for student, it asks me for the name. I would go for Ken. Remember, in this case, look at the Ken is actually capital K, but here I'm using small letter K here. But remember what we did? We used the dot lower to sort them out, and you can see it printed it for me, the student we have here, and I can update by using for. You say, what's the student name, Ken? What do you want? I want to update Python score, so I'll just say Python score is 95, and I hit enter. New score 95, but student not found. So there's a bug here. There's a bug here. So after finding the score, there should be no new Python score. Okay, what did I use Ken? Okay, so let's go to update student function. There's an error there. Update student function didn't work well. It says if this raised, okay. Okay, I think this is a logical error here because if I didn't return, you can see I didn't return. That is why this was also printed out. But if I don't want to use return, I could use the S block. So I should just say return, all right, and it will return, and this will not get here. If you don't want to use the return, you can use the else block. So let us go and start afresh. Okay, so one, I would do the name is Ken, age is 89, Python score is 78, English score is 76, English score is 90, students registered successfully. I want to view student two. The student was, look at the student came back, the student average and the student's grade came back, the average grade and everything came back here. Then I want to search for student, I will go for three. What's the name? The name is Ken. Okay, it gave me Ken. And then I want to update. I'll go for four. What's the student's name? Ken. And then score is 90. You can see the new score is this. Okay. And then the return thing I did solve the problem, the problem that we had because this was also raised. Okay. So now the next one is delete student, which is 5. What's the name? Ken. Student deleted. If I now go back to view to view students, we say no students found because I have deleted the student I created. Okay, so I have tested 1 to 5. Let me go and create a new student again. I'll say 2. What's the problem? The option. Okay. Oh, sorry. Two was giving me students not found. Okay. So I will go for Larry. What's his age? 90. His course, this, this. I've created Larry. Let me create another student. Um, John, 8, 7, 67, 90, 78. I've created John. So if I go for view now, it will give me two students. You see, it gave me two students here. Larry and John. And then if I now, I have already updated, I have deleted. Now let's check for class average. Class average is 6. I'll hit 6. It gives us, this is the class average 72.83. And then let us go for save. Let us save. I'll go for 7. I'll hit enter. Its data is saved. If I go now to our student.json, you will see that you can see the student here. You can see our data has been saved. So next time we run this code again, we load this program, this will load from here. And then if I want to export, I will say 8, I hit enter, it has exported, and you can see now this file has been created, and this is the exported data. Then if I want to exit, I will go do 9, and then you say data saved and goodbye. You see, there is an error here. Once I say exit and goodbye, this should not be printed again. So now let's go back to our menu. Something is wrong with our menu. Okay. Why this? This should exit. We should exit from here. All right. I should have maybe done return or break, because so that this why will no longer be true. I could have done break. Do you understand? I could have done break to break from the while loop. So I will go back again. I'll go back again and I'll say, okay, so I will go back again. And if I say exit 9, you see, it works now. I did not break out of the loop after here. So that was a mistake. So since I didn't break out, the menu was still going on. So I have to break out from the loop, and you can see everything is fine now. So test your own, make sure that your own is working. If you need any assistance, if you have any trouble, please reach out to me. I will help you out. Okay. Make sure you reach out to me, please, if you have any challenge with your own code. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Make sure you do your assignment and do it very well.